so much focus on the second overall pick, and you can understand that. There's some importance there, but there's a lot of early round picks. There's a lot of total picks for the Sharks. How do you see the rest of the draft after that? Maybe the second pick is more predictable. After the Islanders, it's your turn. How do you start to deal with the twists and turns of where this draft might go?
Yeah, I think we're just, at the end of the day, trying to be as prepared as possible. Our kind of analytics group, Charlie Townsend and AJ Bernstein and Dylan Finan in there, they've done a lot of work of running simulations and probabilities and stuff like that, of collecting all the intel out there of mock drafts and rankings and stuff like that, and come up with some models that we'll try and use to kind of help us, I guess, navigate how it goes. But the draft never goes the way you think it's going to go.
What's the mentality when, like last year, you moved up a couple spots to get Sam Dickinson? What goes into the thought of moving up a couple picks or surrendering a higher pick, making that pick a trade? How do you actually value a pick? It's not a human. It's not a player yet. How do you value the pick?
That's a good question. I think for us, when we're looking at it, it's kind of almost tiers of players and where your cutoff is and things like that. Last year, getting to 11, we thought it would give us an opportunity to get a defenseman like Sam, just where our board fell and where the cutoff was. So this year I think we'll keep an eye out and see if there's an opportunity to move up, or if the draft goes and someone starts to slide, I think we'll at least have the ammunition to maybe try and jump up and grab that player.
The draft and free agency back to back, I mean, the 1-2 punch, I don't know how you do it from a front office standpoint. Like that's a lot to take on. Does whatever you do in free agency, is it impacted at all by how the draft goes, or are those two separate things?
They're two separate things. I think for us, it's it's a little different than the NFL or even the NBA, where a lot of times they're drafting people to play
for now,
to play right away. Where our guys are, depending on the player, they're maybe a year away or maybe they're 5 years away.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different feel, and they're a little bit separate.
Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but when it is time for free agency, I know where the team is at in terms of having more money to spend than ever before. And I think the common suggestion is, well, go out for some more Tyler Toffoli types. Great compliment for Toph, by the way, but I don't know if there's a lot of those out there. Where do you start aiming in terms of the type of player, what you'd like to have for free agency? Where does it go?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is for us to just try and improve the team a little bit if we can. Toph and Winnie, I think both were two really good ads, and not only on the ice but off the ice. So a lot of it's got to be the fit in the room. I think we have some young players here and things we're trying to build. So we want to bring the right people around them and surround them with the right people. But obviously, if we could find someone who produces like Toph and has the character that Toph is, and it was a fit, we'll definitely try and add them to the group. But free agency is it's not an easy time of the year. There's 31 other teams who have needs and wants, and so we'll have to see how it goes.
Deep question here, and I know Tyler is part of that culture group, culture type player in this room. Do you feel like your team's next culture is established yet, or even defined yet, or are we at the point where you can build on it, or are you still working on defining it?
I think it's more of a work in progress. There's been a lot of change. There's been a lot of different people in this room. There's been a lot of losing here.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to turn the corner of some of the things that we want, and find this compete and work ethic. It definitely took a step in the right direction this past year, but I definitely think it's a work in progress, and it's something that we're still trying to improve.
Two more things going back to the draft. Once you pick some of these players, they'll instantly come out here to California, be at Sharks Ice for development camp. What's the purpose of getting them right in here as quickly as possible, getting them all together? I think maybe it's obvious, but how do you see the tangible goal of having them here immediately?
Well, I think it's great for them to be around each other.
Yeah.
I think it's great for the staff to get to meet them and spend time with them individually, get to know them a little bit, out of the draft setting where they can maybe relax a little bit. And then I think a big thing is starting to make them feel a part of the Sharks culture and organization, and starting to kind of feel that pride of putting that jersey on. And this is, the first step for them for it to start to feel real. So, I think that's a big part of you. Whenever you get drafted, I think that's the team you want to kind of reward. So, so that's kind of, I think, the biggest takeaways from Dev Camp.
All right, last question. I'll ask it very carefully without any names. Theoretically, you could go into the draft for your first pick, your second overall pick, and just have two options based on whatever the Islanders do and then what you might do next. Do you really only have two options or two mindsets for that? Or internally, does your group have multiple different ideas of what might happen with that second overall pick?
Trying to get me in trouble.
Is it? I mean, I guess it's just how many like you can complicate this a bunch, or you can simplify it a bunch. How do you want it to go, or how is it going? I'll try and be broad there.
I think we'll be open-minded.
Okay.
Open-minded to it. I think we have an idea of right now of who's one and who's two on our board.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, but you never know what's going to happen as you get closer to Friday.
It's really fun and easy to talk about hypotheticals and things we have no clue how they're actually going to play out. Well, obviously, best of luck. I know it's going to be successful, and I know you put a lot of hard work into it, so I can't wait for all that to pay off. And thank you very much for all this time. It's not like you have any free time to waste right now anyway.
No, thanks. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Appreciate it.